Sir, is my presentation visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. नमस्ते आप सभी को आज के हीलिंग एमएनडी इंडिया के सत्र में आप सबका स्वागत है. वेलकम एवरीवन टू हीलिंग एमएनडी इंडिया मीटिंग. If you want to connect with Healing MND India, can WhatsApp your details on the given number on the screen, or as you can send an email on the email ID. अगर आपको हीलिंग एमएनडी इंडिया से जुड़ना है तो आप अपना डिटेल व्हाट्सएप ये नंबर पे स्क्रीन के ऊपर दिए गए नंबर पे व्हाट्सएप कीजिए और या फिर आप अपना ईमेल आईडी पे अपना डिटेल भेज सकते हैं. Kindly go through the disclaimer. Never disregard any professional medical advice or delay seeking medical treatment because of something you have read on or accessed through this website, presentation, YouTube channel, videos, comments. Please read the disclaimer in Hindi. हिंदी में अस्वीकारण पढ़ लीजिए. ये हमारा मंजुनाथ जी का फेवरेट है. No animals were harmed in the making of this video. No aliens as well as humans were harmed in the making of this video. No plants, trees, forests, rivers, lakes, oceans, and planets were also harmed. Now, what is MND? MND stands for motor neuron disease. और हमारे सबके लिए MND का मतलब है मैं नहीं डरता. MND. The mind never dies. MND. Music and dance. MND. And memories never die. MND. So remember, MND is just a disease name, but you can convert MND into मैं नहीं डरता या डरती. हमें MND से डरना नहीं है. हमें जीना है और खुशी से जीना है. MND India is working to improve and enhance the quality of life of the patients as well as caregivers. We are regularly researching on treatments and solutions. We are also researching on alternative therapies. We are also trying to offer cost-effective, pocket-friendly solutions. We are inviting guest speakers and specialists. Like today, we have invited Dr. Professor PhD scientist Ajay Kumar ji. We are also liaising with the government authorities. We are focusing on holistic healing, alternative therapies. And finally, you all know I regularly share appeotherapy videos and messages in our group. Healing MND India is proud to be associated with Healing ALS advocates from America, Patricia and Scott. They recently visited India and I would like to show you a few pictures. This is Patricia Scott visiting India and meeting me at my house. This is Dr. Jawar Shah, bulbar MND, diagnosed with bulbar MND. Dr. Jawar Shah, and he has reversed the disease completely with his willpower, with his yoga knowledge, with his determination. Even his speech had gone bad, but now he is able to speak properly. And you would be surprised to know that nowadays he even drives a two-wheeler to buy vegetables from the market for his wife. So hats off to Dr. Jawar Shah. This is our laughing Buddha, Mr. Dr. Manjunath ji. I'm proud and happy to say that Dr. Manjunath ji is also reversing and is doing very well, extremely well, and is one of the greatest inspiration for me. Thank you, Dr. Manjunath, for sharing all the knowledge. This is Devendra Rajuskar ji from Amravati. He is a great gentleman who has reversed MND ALS and he is reversing and he has shared all the information with us. Thank you, देवेंद्र जी. आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. You would be surprised to know that this girl,
No, berapa korban? Okay, jadi
this girl, Miss Muskan Garg, was diagnosed with juvenile MND at the young age of around 13 years, and now she has reversed this disease completely. Basically, what are the main essential things that you have to do and you have to understand about MND, ALS, or any neurodegenerative disease? It's the power of mind that you have to use. If you are using your power of mind, you can do magical recovery and magical healing. Last 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 month we did a meeting on chanting. Please go through the video on my YouTube channel. Basically, there's a lot of inflammation in the body. It is all due to chronic inflammation, and it goes up and about neuroinflammation. Then there is oxidative stress. Then there are free radicals due to all this inflammation and oxidative stress. Then there are toxins in the body. You have to focus on food items and supplements that can help you pass the blood-brain barrier. You have to focus on your food and nutrition. You have to focus on gut health. Absorption of nutrients goes down in our body, so you have to focus on absorption of nutrients. You have to focus on sleep, diet, supplements, medicinal cannabis, exercise, physical therapy, physiotherapy, regular exercise, speech and swallowing therapy, and occupational therapy. Oh, Uh, thank you, uh, Professor Ajay Kumar ji. Thank you so much, sir. You took out time, अपने टाइम निकाला हम सब के लिए, और आज आप हमारे साथ जुड़े। हमें आज कर्क्यूमिन और न्यूरो डिजेनरेटिव डिजीज इन कॉमन आप हमें बताएंगे। थैंक यू सर, आप यू took out so much time for us, and you are sharing your knowledge and research with us. And now the podium is yours, sir. Uh, Dr. Ajay Kumar ji is a PhD scientist, is a professor, and he's a very big researcher. So we, we Ajay Kumar ji अपने बारे में और भी बताएंगे। So now the podium is Ajay Kumar ji. Namaskar, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Shaji, and good evening to all of you. Namaste. And I hope you are able to hear me, right?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah, great. So thank you for inviting me to this platform. And first, I will, I'm very happy to see all of you here. And, I will share my slides first, and then we can, start the presentation.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
It is visible, right? Okay, great. It's a full
Yes.
screen. You can see, right?
Yes, sir. Full screen. Thank you, sir.
Great. So, as Shaji, thank you for your nice, generous introduction, and then I'm very happy to see your introduction and to see many people are getting benefits from your this firm, and then they are also joined for this meeting. So first of all, my Hindi is not that good, so I can understand, but I can't speak Hindi. So if you have any questions, you know, you try to, and or Shaji or somebody may translate, and then we can discuss about that. So today I was thinking first to give a scientific presentation, then I thought no, I have to give make it very simple, so I will try my best to simplify my presentation. And if you think it is little complicated, you let me know, then I can explain again. There is no issue. Okay. So first, so today's presentation, first I will talk about why we are getting these different diseases, and how we can use alternative medicine, including curcumin, for the prevention and treatment of these diseases, and what is known about, scientifically known about this compound on
Yeah.
neurodegenerative conditions.
Yes, sir. Dr. Ajay Kumar ji, first, kindly introduce yourself, where you are working, and
Yeah. So, before that, as Shaji mentioned, I will introduce myself. So, my name is Ajay Kumar Kunnumakara, and I am originally from Kerala. I did my bachelor's, master's actually in botany. Then, during my PhD, I changed my field to cancer biology, and I started working on turmeric, haldi, and curcumin in 2001. So almost 23 years ago, I started working on this. And then I moved to the University of Texas, MD Anderson Cancer Center. It is in Houston, Texas, USA, where I worked almost 3.5 years as a postdoc. And there also I contributed lot on curcumin and turmeric, mainly preclinical, and including 3 4 clinical studies also I have contributed that time. And then in 2008, I moved to National Cancer Institute of National Institute of Health, USA, where I worked as a scientist till 2012. In 2012, July, I joined at IIT Guwahati as an assistant professor. And, so last 12 years, I have been working here as a faculty. I'm a full professor now. And my major area is inflammation related diseases, including cancer, and how we can use alternative medicine or natural products to prevent and treat these diseases. So as I mentioned, my bachelor's and master's I did in botany, plant science. So I have huge affection to the natural products. That's how I started working on natural products. And last 23 years, I have been working on curcumin. And I have published more than 100 research articles, reviews, book chapters, books on curcumin and turmeric. And last to last year, there is an article from China. They did a lot of statistics on citations, and they published that paper where I was listed as the second most cited scientist in the world on curcumin and turmeric. And I know the potential of this compound very well, and I will go through that with you and some of the things. Okay, thank you. And maybe after the presentation, if you have any questions, I'm very happy to answer those. And as I mentioned, I will try my best to uh, simplify as much as possible. So today I'll be talking about curcumin and neurodegenerative conditions. Before that, just a minute. Yeah. So I don't have to mention, talk to you what is a degenerative disease. I know because you are all experiencing that condition. And this disease is characterized by deterioration of the function and structure of the affected body part because of losing our muscles or neurons, etc. That is called as a degenerative disease. Okay, so there are many neurodegenerative diseases, and mainly they are Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, and multiple sclerosis. I hope you are able to see my cursor moving on the screen. Yes, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. So there are many risk factors for these diseases, such as aging is the main risk factor. Then alcohol, genetics, tumor, viruses, and toxins. There are the main risk factors of these diseases. Many of you know this very well. And there are many symptoms associated with these diseases, such as difficulty in decision making, memory loss, problems with the time and places, misplacing the things, pain, etc. And what is the prevalence when we get these type of diseases? Mainly age. When we get aged, we get most of the disease. According to a data that is published last year, it was shown that at the age of 40 to 60, there are only 1% of people are affected with this disease. But then above 60, it is becoming 2%, 3%, etc. And by the age of 80, almost 25 to 30 percentage of the people are affected with this disease. And there are different hallmarks of this disease. And already Shaji mentioned about inflammation, then oxidative stress, etc. These are the main, these are all mainly caused by environmental factors, not actually genetic. So lifestyle is the main reason for getting most of these diseases. And all of you know about that there are a lot of proteins associated with this disease, and like tau protein and amyloid beta and SNCA, etc. And these are associated with different types of neurodegenerative diseases. I'm not going in detail because that is not what we want to talk about in this, you know, talk now. And if you see the global pharmaceutical market on neurodegenerative disease, in 2022 it was 41.2 billion US dollar, and every day it is, you know, escalating, and by 2031 it is expected that the global pharmaceutical market for neurodegenerative diseases would cost 100 billion US dollar. However, the question is that the pharmaceutical companies are earning, you know, lot of dollar, billions, by selling these drugs. So what is the benefit most of these patients are getting? And you know that better than me, and it is null. Very, very, very little benefit we are getting from these drugs. So therefore, we have to identify why these diseases are causing, and we have to also identify, discover novel therapeutics which are safe, efficacious, at the same time affordable for the prevention and treatment of these diseases. So this is what we are doing in our laboratory for last 21 years. So, so for that, first we have to identify what is the main risk factor for these diseases. As Shaji mentioned, you know, inflammation is the main risk factor for these diseases. Inflammation means the flame within our body. So this is, you know, is the main reason for these diseases. So you know what is inflammation? It is like a pain, it's like heat, redness, swelling, and we also experience a loss of function of body parts during inflammatory conditions. However, there are two types of inflammation: acute inflammation and therapeutic inflammation. What is acute inflammation? It is a therapy. So whenever you get infection or something, acute inflammation happens. That is a short-term inflammation. Short time. Maybe it lasts for a few hours or few days or few weeks, and then it subside and then end the inflammation. Sorry. However, chronic inflammation, it is a continuous inflammation. It continues. It never stops in the body. And that causes most of these diseases. So, in other words, you have a kitchen in your house, and there is a burner, gas burner. So, there, when you want, you can switch on this gas burner and you get the flame. That is inflammation. And if you, and after switching on, you can cook something, and whenever you don't require, you can switch off that flame. So that is acute inflammation. Sometimes, many times, you can also control the intensity of the flame. So that is highly controlled. That is acute inflammation. Even in your body, when acute inflammation happens, it's a very controlled inflammation. Body controls that inflammation. Body has every control on that inflammation. However, when acute inflammation become out of control, repeated cycles of acute inflammation, if it happens, what happens to our body? So this is what happens to our body. This is chronic inflammation, and that damages everything. So that is the difference between acute inflammation and chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation is therapeutic, but chronic inflammation is pathogenic. It induces a lot of different types of diseases. So there are different potential sources of this inflammation. Mainly, these are all caused by environmental factors like environment pollutants, etc. Then food factors, grill, fried, junk food, etc. Different types of bacteria and viruses also cause this inflammation. And even cigarette smoke. Cigarette smoke induces bronchitis, COPD, and other diseases. Stress, Shaji already mentioned, stress also, is one of the main factor of this inflammation. Ultraviolet radiation, then alcoholic beverages, etc. All are the potential sources of this chronic inflammation. And there are more than 100 different types of chronic inflammation discovered in this world. So these are called like bronchitis, cervicitis, colitis, hepatitis, gastritis, myocarditis, nephritis, pancreatitis, prostatitis, tonsillitis, vulvitis. These are all different types of chronic inflammation. This chronic inflammation can lead to many other diseases like bronchitis can lead to lung cancer, prostatitis can lead to prostate cancer, gastritis can lead to gastric cancer and more complex diseases. So, as I mentioned, this chronic inflammation can lead to cancer, neurological diseases like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, epilepsy, dementia, etc. Then metabolic diseases like diabetic metabolic syndromes, bone diseases like arthritis, muscular dystrophy, skin diseases like wrinkles, etc., cardiovascular diseases, etc. Then other inflammatory diseases like inflammatory bowel disease, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, etc. So now the question is that if the inflammation is the main risk factor, how we can extinguish or prevent or treat inflammation. So there is a protein called NF-kappa B. So I hope you are, you can follow this. I will try as simple as possible. And the NF-kappa B, also known as nuclear factor kappa B, is the main link between inflammation and chronic diseases. This is all proved. And if you see PubMed, that is a search engine. PubMed, it is a search engine for publishing of the research articles. You can see a lot of thousands of publications, scientific articles on NF-kappa B, this protein, and inflammatory diseases. So this is the most studied inflammatory transcription factor in the world, NF-kappa B. And I'm not going in detail. And this NF-kappa B can regulate lot of genes. Our body has lot of genes. Cells has 20 to 25,000 genes. Some of the genes, all the genes are important for our body, but it should be expressed at the right time and the right intervals. But if it is expressed in the wrong time, we get the disease. And that is because of our lifestyle, mainly our food habits, whether you are taking smoking or you are taking junk food, etc., all involved in that. So this protein control another 500 genes and proteins that are related to different types of diseases. And what activate this protein? There is another protein, it is called TNF alpha. It is a cytokine. So this protein activates this NF kappa B. Okay. And tumor necrosis factor alpha is the most potent pro-inflammatory cytokine. I told you inflammation is the main cause. So this is the most potent inflammatory cytokine so far discovered in the world. If you get a fever, immediately the TNF alpha would be very high in your blood. If you get any infection, or if you get cough, cold, etc., if you get stress, you will get high amount of NF kappa B. See, when I was in Texas, I was working with NASA for some projects, and we were checking the stress level of astronauts who is going to the space. And interestingly, we have seen before going, their TNF alpha level is less, but when they go to space, it's very, very, very high. And after coming back to Earth, their TNF alpha level slowly, slowly, slowly goes down. So TNF alpha is that much important. And so this tumor necrosis factor alpha, or TNF alpha, activates NF kappa B, and that induces other genes, expression of the genes, and these are related with numerous other diseases. And so, so that means if you suppress TNF alpha, this protein, you can prevent or treat these diseases. This TNF alpha inhibitor, there are a lot of pharmaceutical industries that developed TNF alpha inhibitor for different chronic diseases. Now, the market of that is more than 100 billion per year. And some of the TNF alpha inhibitor drugs are Humira, Anabral, etc. These are sold at a very high price. One injection may cost around 6,000 US dollar. So you can imagine how expensive are these drugs. And interestingly, if you search in Google, you can see the side effects, adverse side effects of these drugs in humans. It's a huge. At the same time, most of the patients are not getting a major benefit from these therapies. It is well proved. You can see a lot of papers are coming out on the adverse side effects of these drugs, as well as they cause sometimes autoimmune diseases, etc. You know, this is what is happening. So even inflammatory signaling pathways also involved in Alzheimer's disease and other neurological conditions. Here you can see this is a paper published recently, a scientific study published recently, which shows NF kappa B, TNF alpha, etc. are the main reasons for inflammation in Alzheimer's disease. And thousands of papers like this, you can get it from Google. These are all studied in vitro, in vivo, and many of them are in patients, in humans. So you can understand the importance of this inflammation, chronic inflammation, or it, play in the development of these diseases. So that shows, yes, we have to find out safe, efficacious, as well as affordable, drugs for the prevention and treatment of these diseases. And it is, Hippocrates, he was a, big person, almost 2,500 years ago he lived. And that time itself, he mentioned, let food be the medicine and medicine be the food. Our food would be our medicine. Our medicine would be the food. Instead of that, what we are doing every day, we are taking paracetamol, dispirin, aspirin, all the chemicals. Now, not as a medicine we are taking. Now it is like a food. Every day, most of even I have a lot of students who are taking these medicines every day, the chemicals. And many of the students, I advise them, and now they are following a healthy lifestyle. Even uh, you know uh, many researchers showcase that yes, food is the main agent, you know that can prevent and treat different diseases. This is a journal, Science is a very reputed journal. They had a full issue in September 21st, 2012 on how food prevent disease, how we can use food to treat the disease. What are the chemicals present in these agents or chemicals present in this food which can inhibit oxidative stress, DNA damage, tissue damage, then inflammation, etc. So it is very interesting that in 1990, so these are all shows that we need good TNF alpha, NF kappa B inhibitors for the prevention and treatment of these diseases. So it's very interesting. In 1995, there is a publication, Inhibition of Tumor Necrosis Factor by Curcumin. This is published almost 30 years ago, and it is published in a journal called Biochemical Pharmacology, and which shows curcumin is one of the major, main compound that can inhibit TNF alpha. That leads to, TNF alpha is one of the main reason for inflammation. And if you see in PubMed, curcumin in a search engine, curcumin and TNF alpha, you can see more than 1,300 scientific publications on this, scientific publications. And in the same year, there's another paper published which shows from our group, curcumin inhibits NF kappa B. And I told you there are two proteins that are majorly involved in inflammation, TNF alpha and NF kappa. This paper shows yes, curcumin can inhibit both TNF alpha and NF kappa. This is also published in 1995. And if you see a search in PubMed, the search engine, you can get curcumin and NF kappa B, you can get more than 1,250 publications. And that shows the potential, high, significant potential of this compound to inhibit TNF alpha and NF kappa B and inflammation and other diseases. So, when is the first paper of curcumin published? That is very interesting. In 1949, it was a Nature paper. Curcumin inhibits harmful bacteria, and it's very interesting. That is published in Nature. Nature is one of the best scientific journal in 1949, and still, many of us don't believe these Nature products. This is our problem actually. So what is curcumin? And you already know about that. Curcumin is an yellow colored compound isolated from turmeric, or we also call manjal or haldi, etc. So curcumin, this is the turmeric plant, and with the roots, and you can see this is the turmeric roots. It's yellow color. If you make a section, cut, you can see yellow color there. That is curcumin, and this is a dried form of the turmeric roots, and this yellow is the curcumin powder. So it's a yellow colored powder. Previously, people were using this for as a coloring agent. But Indians, even more than 5,000 years ago, we have been using this turmeric for the treatment of different diseases. I will also show that. Okay. So curcumin, and this is the chemical structure of curcumin. So it is known as diferloyl and I told you there are a lot of proteins and genes. If they are expressed in the wrong time and the wrong place, we get diseases. And this compound is known to modulate, suppress, or activate the expression of more than 500 genes and proteins. It is well proved. Okay. So previously, FDA, Food and Drug Administration, were approving the drugs that can target, that binds to only one protein. They are known as magic bullets because they bind to only one protein. Because previously, I mean, long back around 30 to 40 years ago, we all thought that every disease is caused by a single protein. Cardiovascular disease is caused by a single protein. Cancer is caused by a single protein. Arthritis is caused by a single protein. So FDA didn't want a drug that act on multiple proteins. So, but later they discovered that scientists discovered that all the diseases are caused by multiple gene disorders or multiple protein disorders. More than one protein are involved. And interestingly, curcumin this compound, yellow colored compound, can inhibit all these different proteins. That's the beauty of this compound. And this is very interesting. I mean, today is January 12th. So this picture I got first saved on 20th of February 2024. So I told about to you about PubMed. This is a search engine, and it is by National Library of Medicine and the NIH in USA. They have this search engine. And when I started, so I told you the first paper of curcumin was published on 1949. And then, very few papers you can see. And when I started my career on curcumin, there were only 144 publications. And if you see in 2024, I mean, 20th February 2024, there were 23,000 scientific studies on curcumin in this search engine. 23,000. In last 20 years, more than 22,000 papers or scientific papers were published here in this search engine on curcumin. And today when I checked, I saw that last year, 2024, 2,498 articles were published on curcumin in this search engine. Almost 2,500, 2,500 scientific articles on the benefit of this compound for the prevention and treatment of different diseases. And if you see, I told you in 20th February 2024, there were only 23,000 articles. And when I checked now, more than 2,000 articles added in less than 1 year. Scientific articles, scientific studies on this compound. And in 2025, only 12 days is not over even. And you can see 143 articles are scientific studies are published on this compound in this platform, in this search engine. It's huge. I can tell you that is the beauty and that is the potential of this compound in the prevention and treatment of different diseases. And I have studied a lot on this compound. Mainly, I worked on cancer, curcumin, and cancer. This I will just go over it. Some of this stuff, so you will understand its benefit. This is a study we did long back on curcumin and in combination with the gemcitabine as a potential therapy for pancreatic cancer. And this study led to this result were very highly encouraging, and this study led to a couple of clinical trials, and those results were also very highly encouraging, and many pancreatic cancer patients are started taking curcumin, as some of you are doing. And this is for ovarian cancer. Same, curcumin was very effective. We published long back. All of these studies led to different clinical studies. And this is for curcumin and colorectal cancer. And study we published, and yeah, this is another, review article we published long back, curcumin as curcumin from kitchen to clinic. We have been using haldi in the kitchen, and now it is going to the clinic, this compound. This is another paper we published, Curcumin and Cancer, an old age disease with an age-old solution. So many you can see, And so when we were working on this, people were started talking about different other forms of curcumin. Then in 2008, we compiled all the information and published. And believe me, in 2008, we have found that there are more than 10,000 other forms of curcumin exists. And now, with the help of chemistry and those, it is gone to, more than 90,000 to 1 lakh. Okay. And I told you, there are a lot of drugs previously approved, like celecoxib, Erbitax, etc. They target only one protein. And but in this paper, we have shown that curcumin also target all these proteins and plus other proteins that are involved in different types of diseases. So with one drug, you can treat many different diseases. And these are some of the forms of curcumin we used for the clinical trials. Curcumin pills for 1000 milligram, capsules 500 milligram, or some people use lozenges also for the treatment of different diseases. And this is a phase 2 clinical trial on curcumin we did in pancreatic cancer patients. And this shows that it has huge efficacy on pancreatic cancer. Is one of the aggressive cancer in the world. And curcumin has shown huge efficacy in pancreatic cancer patients. Even many pancreatic cancer patients, they are taking the curcumin, even today. And this is for, again, colorectal cancer. This study also led to clinical trials, and it was very positive, the outcome. And there are a lot of studies. This is for human multiple myeloma, another type of cancer we studied. And this was also led to clinical study, and that is also going on. And so like that, we have done numerous studies on curcumin and clinical trial. Even we have done clinical trial on osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, migraine, and those kind of patients. And these studies are very, 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 very well received and showed significant effect. And last year, ACS, American Chemical Society, invited us to publish clinical trials on curcumin. And we have gathered information from different databases, published papers, etc. And we published this in 2023 in American Chemical Society Pharmacology and Translational Science Journal. And we have listed over 600 clinical trials on curcumin. So over 600 clinical trials have been published on curcumin, in the world. Can you imagine? So that's the power of this compound. So, but I think all of you heard about that bioavailability is a problem for curcumin, right? So we thought this long back and published a scientific article, Bioavailability of Curcumin Problems and Promises, where we have mentioned why bioavailability is a problem. If it is there, then what are the ways to overcome that issue? And this also, again, we published in 2019 another article, Is Curcumin Bioavailability a Problem in Humans? Lessons from Clinical Trials. So many of these clinical trials shows you don't have to use a specialized form of curcumin. And it is only for specific conditions. Even, now this week we are going to submit another study. Bioavailability is not a problem for curcumin, because we have developed many methods to overcome the bioavailability. Some of the methods I will show you. Even turmeric curcumin is already mentioned in Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, 5,000 years ago, all Charaka Samhita, Susruta Samhita, Ashtanga Hridaya, all showed, shown the efficacy of turmeric in the prevention and treatment of different diseases. And most of the cases, believe me, they are not using turmeric, alone, but it is with the ghee or milk or some formulations. Because of that, our viability of curcumin is very high, and this has meant we have mentioned in some papers. And most of the time in Ayurveda we use turmeric or haldi with uh, Indian gooseberry or Cyprus rotundus, Piper longum, tipilli, or neem, and these agents. Those are known to increase the bioavailability of curcumin and turmeric. And even we use decoction, right, in Ayurveda, because bioavailability we say is less. But in Ayurveda, we are not using alone. We use decoction or paste or tablets or soup or macerations or semi-solid syrup like leha, grita, pay, etc. These are the different ways we use it. So these are all helps to increase the bioavailability, or the concentration of curcumin in our body. And so what is the main reason for this bioavailability? It is poor absorption and poor bioavailability, cell permeability, and low plasma levels. But there are lot of formulations developed that increases the bioavailability of curcumin. This can be divided into first generation, second generation, third generation. In the first generation, they use different agents, compounds in combination with curcumin to increase the bioavailability. And it's the second generation, they used different synthetic emulsifiers, other compounds. And then third generation without synthetic emulsifiers. I will just go through that quickly. So here you can see, they use curcumin in combination of a piperine, black pepper, that is known to increase the bioavailability. Like that, there are many. Similarly, there are a lot of formulations have been developed, and a lot of clinical trials. More than 100 clinical trials have been conducted on first generation formulations of curcumin. Same way, second generation formulations of curcumin, there are many different formulations of curcumin, and they used different types of emulsifiers. And over 100 clinical trials have been completed on second generation formulations of curcumin. Similarly, third generation formulations of curcumin, in the same way, over 25 different types of clinical trials have been completed. So there are a lot of formulations of curcumin have been developed. I am not going in detail, uh, you know, uh, because of the time limit. Sorry. Uh, so this also we have gathered all the information and published another article. This is an invited article from ACS, American Chemical Society, Omega. This is a very well reputed journal, scientific journal. We have published curcumin formulations for better availability, what we learned from clinical trials thus far. This is published in 2023, and we have mentioned all the different types of formulations. So there is no problem, bioavailability or of curcumin is not a problem for in humans. No. So now I'm coming back on, curcuminoids on neurodegenerative diseases, and you already know, and even I already mentioned why this is happening. It is mainly happening because of the inflammation, and many times the disintegrating microtubule and those things happens because of that alpha synuclein amyloid aggregate, etc. aggregates, and plaque accumulation happens during the neurodegenerative diseases, and this leads to neuron loss and degeneration. And this also leads to blood-brain barrier leakage and neuroinflammation. And this all the events leads to cognitive impairment, locomotor impairment, memory deficit, depression and anxiety, disability and mortality, etc. And these are all caused by, it's not a single event, molecular event. There are a lot of molecules or molecular mechanism involved in these events. And I already talked about to you about the NF kappa B, and NF kappa B is the major event in all these disease conditions. And at the same time, in addition to NF kappa, there are other molecular signatures also, molecular proteins and etc. genes are etc. all involved in this. And these are all mechanisms leads to finally activation of inflammatory cytokines, as I mentioned, TNF alpha and other inflammatory factors. And interestingly, and for example, uh, Okay, so yeah. However, interestingly, curcumin is known to inhibit all these damages. It can inhibit uh, synuclein amyloid aggregates, and it can inhibit neuron loss and inflammation, and it can inhibit activated microglia. It can inhibit reactive astrocytes. Therefore, I mean, because curcumin is doing all these things, it can also inhibit the or prevent cognitive impairment due to this disease, locomotor impairment due to these disorders, memory deficit due to these disorders, depression and anxiety due to these disorders, disability, etc., due to these disorders. So, how curcumin is doing this? Before that, I will also tell you. I mean, curcumin regulates amyloid beta. That is very important in Alzheimer's disease metabolism, and inhibits amyloid beta aggregation in several ways. There are different ways. These are all proved by science. Different experiments proved, in vitro and laboratory conditions. Everything is proved. It can inhibit enhance amyloid uptake by macrophages. It can inhibit amyloid metabolism. It can inhibit amyloid aggregation. It can promote disaggregation of amyloid, etc. So many different ways it can act. And you know how it is able to act, because I told you there are several molecular mechanisms are involved. And interestingly, curcumin can inhibit all these important molecular mechanisms. It can inhibit NF-kappa B, it can inhibit HMGB, it can inhibit MAPK signaling, it can induces NRF2, and it can inhibit caspase 3, caspase 1, etc. So many molecular events it can inhibit or prevent. And it can induce whatever is good for the betterment of improvement of these diseases. Those signaling also it can improve. It is well proved by several scientific studies. And at the last, I will give you some of the uh, clinical studies on curcumin and neurodegenerative disease. And because of the time limit, I'm not able to go through everything in vitro and in vivo studies and many clinical studies, but I will give you some few uh, information about the clinical studies on curcumin on different neurodegenerative diseases. For example, this is a paper published in 2018, changes in Th17 cells function after nanocurcumin. They used nanocurcumin in this study to treat multiple sclerosis. It's for the treatment of multiple sclerosis. And you can see that the results of the current work indicated that nanocurcumin is able to restore the dysregulated Th17 cells in multiple sclerosis patients. It is a clinical study, well proved. And this is published in Iran. And this is a clinical study in patients, in humans. This is another study on curcumin and multiple sclerosis. Nanocurcumin improves regulatory T cell frequency and function in patients with multiple sclerosis. I'm only saying the conclusion of the study. The results of the current work indicated that nanocurcumin is capable of restoring the frequency and function of Treg, that's T regulatory cells, in multiple sclerosis patients. It's well proved, everything. And this is a study published on spinal cord injury on curcumin, effects of curcumin on bone loss and biochemical markers of bone turnover in patients with spinal cord injury. And the conclusion, this study concluded that curcumin via modulation of densitometry indices and bone resorption markers showed inhibitory effect on the process of osteoporosis. Osteoporosis means bone loss. It inhibits the bone loss in spinal cord injury patients. Treatment with the curcumin was significantly associated with a decrease in osteoporosis. So it suppressed bone loss in these patients. And this study, there are a lot of studies. I mean, some of the examples I'm giving you, recent examples. This study is on migraine, effects of curcumin supplementation on clinical features and inflammation in migraine patients. It's a clinical study, and this study shows that curcumin supplementation improved the pro-inflammatory markers and clinical features of migraine headaches that could be contributed to its anti-inflammatory properties. They also get a lot of relief for in depression, inflammation, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, etc. There are a lot of studies published. And last year, we published a paper on curcumin and neurodegenerative diseases. I can send you that paper, and you can read that paper publication. And this I will show you that paper, where we have listed all the laboratory studies of curcumin and neurological diseases. I can't show everything here because there are more than 200 studies, preclinical studies. And I'm only showing some of the clinical studies. Yes, they have done on Alzheimer's disease, migraine, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury. These are the different diseases in clinical trials in patients they studied, and different doses they, this study used ranging from 80 milligram to 2 gram per day. And most of the studies shows, you know, a good effect, like very positive effect, suppression of different markers, as well as improvement in headache, and all those different types of symptoms were improved after the uh, treatment with curcumin. These are more than 20 studies were listed in this article. And so these studies shows that curcumin and its derivatives can be used to treat Alzheimer's disease, epilepsy diseases, Huntington's disease, migraine, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, brain tumors, traumatic brain injury, etc. And this is the paper we published in 2023, Curcumin, Inflammation and Neurological Disorders. How are they linked? What is how curcumin inhibits, suppress inflammation and neurological diseases. This is we published in 2023. And of course, there are different forms of curcumin is available on the market, like capsules, cream, gummy, soap, drink, etc. So you can use any of these for your particular health conditions, even to increase the immunity. It's an immune booster. You know, last April I visited USA, and I went to CVS and other shops, and I saw that there is a small turmeric shot is there. So I asked, they charge around $2 or $3, and it is like turmeric in water, and then you can take that. So it improves the immunity. It's good. So so that is what we all use every day, a lot of curries, and that is why we are adding from years and years turmeric in our curries. It improves our health system. It is the best medicine. Food is the best medicine. And this is the paper I told you, where they listed my name as the second most cited author in the world on curcumin research, curcumin and turmeric research. And our lab is not only working on curcumin, we have a lot of collaborations, and we have published a lot of books on food and cancer and other diseases, etc. How we can use good food and then change lifestyle and then prevent and treat different diseases. And we are working on so many different compounds. Just a minute. Yeah, not only curcumin, we use lot of different compounds in our lab. Natural products like boswellic acid, scopolamine, thymoglobulin, respiratory, reserpine, ellagic acid. These are all natural products. These are all have numerous health benefits, and that we are trying to uncover by our scientific research. And health is our wealth, and healthy is leads to health. So healthy is our wealth. This is what I want to tell you, and this is my acknowledgement. All this are not possible without the help of my students. I have trained last 12 years more than 100 students in my laboratory, and all of them are in many places in India and abroad, and many big universities like MIT, Harvard, California, Texas, Cambridge, Dublin, Australia, etc. Okay, so that is another satisfaction I'm getting, by my work. So they are also working on different aspects of cancer, inflammation, and other diseases. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm very, you know, any questions if you have.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ajay Kumar ji.
Thank you, thank
It
you,
was a fantastic presentation.
thank you.
You can turn off the presentation now. You can unshare the screen. So now I would like to tell everyone that in India we have Meghalaya. In Meghalaya there is a place called Lakadong, and in Lakadong there is they grow turmeric, and that turmeric has the highest curcumin in Lakadong. So
Yes,
basically, with the help of Yogeji from our group, we have found a very good supplier of Lakadong turmeric powder. And I would like to tell everyone that I have tried liquid curcumin drops. After that, I even tried capsule of turmeric. But when I started using turmeric, Lakadong turmeric powder in its original form, and I can tell you it has already slowed down my progression by at least 5%. It's a huge number because of curcumin. We all Indians use curcumin, turmeric powder in our curries. We use in our khichdi. We use turmeric in almost each and every preparation every day. आपको पता होगा अगर टर्मरिक खत्म हो गया तो घर पे झगड़ा हो जाता है, चिल्लम चिल्ली हो जाती है, घर वाले परेशान करते हैं ना मंजूनाथ जी। हाँ, तो आपको ये ध्यान में रखना है, द मोर curcumin, and the best part is that it has medicinal benefits we were unaware about earlier, but now we are aware thanks to researchers and scientists and professors like Dr. Professor Ajay Kumar ji. They are doing so much research. और अजय कुमार जी आपको कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन सर, you are
thank you.
you are considered as the second top second researcher all over the world. So
Yes,
you, I applaud you for that.
thank you.
Or one more thing, sir.
Mm,
You whatever you research you are doing on cancer,
mm,
on neurodegenerative, and all the compounds that you showed, I
mm.
am very much sure that all these research is going to help all of us, not only us, but all over the world.
I hope so. That is our.
Yeah,
Mm,
and now I am telling to the world,
mm.
भारत आगे आ रहा है, भारत में मेडिकल टूरिज्म भी बढ़ेगा, आप हमारा करक्यूमिन खाओ और अच्छे हो जाओ।
Yes.
हाँ, तो
See, I want to tell you a story. When I was at MD Anderson Cancer Center, Houston, USA. This story happened in 2006. So we wanted some curcumin for our studies. So we told our secretary to email a company to send curcumin 500 milligram. And the next day morning, secretary told, they replied, but they told they cannot deliver this amount. Then we were thinking 500 milligram is very less. It's a half a gram. Why they can't, you know, uh, deliver? Then we read the mail and found that by mistake the secretary used instead of milligram, she wrote kilogram. So that is a huge. And the email shows we are very happy that your request, and we can arrange 4 to 5 kilogram in a month. And if you want 500 kilogram, it will take 6 months, but we are not sure, 6 months to 1 year to deliver minimum. And that was the condition in 2006, where India was not even, supplying 4 to 5 in a company cannot supply 4 to 5 kilogram of curcumin, you know, in a week. But last year, India, exported 4,000 tons of curcumin to USA. Can you imagine? So that much, people are using curcumin or turmeric. Turmeric is a huge, exporters. You know, Curcumin is also huge exporter, India. So all over the world, they are using Indian curcumin. All over the world, in European countries, even Japan. Japan, the turmeric is known as Yukon, and there is a turmeric bath also in Japan. Like if you go to some spa, turmeric bath also there. Even I have seen restaurants Turmerica in US turmeric restaurant, Haldi restaurant. So it is highly popular now. Okay, so we should, I think, motivate the people to take this curcumin, and it's a highly immunomodulatory. Highly, you give to your kids good curcumin. I'm not talking about commercially available packeted curcumin. Try, be very careful when you use it, because lot of these uh, you know uh, turmeric powder has adulterations. Instead of that, good turmeric, as you mentioned, Lactone. I'm also Lactone turmeric Mecalia. I'm their advisor, okay, honorary advisor of this agriculture, that Lactone turmeric, etc. So they're doing really good. So we want the natural, the best turmeric and curcumin. And if you give to your kids also, I mean, like half a teaspoon every day, that is good. Even when I was a child, my mother and grandmother used to give curcumin in milk. They put curcumin in milk, little curcumin, half a teaspoon of curcumin, turmeric in milk, and then give us. And it is good for the stomach and other complaints, and it improves the immunity. Yeah. If you have,
धन्यवाद सर
thank you.
अजय कुमार जी धन्यवाद सर नाउ
Thank
आई
you.
विल बी टेकिंग क्वेश्चन
Yeah.
अब आप में से किसी को कोई क्वेरी हो क्वेश्चन हो तो आप अनम्यूट करके पूछ सकते हो एक एक करके स्टार्टिंग विद डॉक्टर मंजुनाथ जी
I think your microphone is mute.
Muted.
Can you speak now? I think. Oh no, it's muted now.
म्यूट you have to unmute. In the meantime, I would like to invite the Devendra Kumar ji. I think no Manjunath ji, you will have to your sound is not audible. You can reconnect. In in the meantime, Asukan sir or Devendra ji, you have any questions?
Hello, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
good evening, sir. I am Subodh Panigrahi.
Ah,
I just want to know what is the best form of curcumin that will be more effective, whether it is turmeric powder or any capsule or
okay.
lozenge that is available. Which is the best form?
See, this is a very good question. Whether the turmeric or curcumin is better, right?
Yes.
So it depends on the conditions. Suppose you want an immunomodulatory effect, or an anti-inflammatory effect. Most of the time, if an acute inflammation or if it is not a very high inflammatory conditions, turmeric is the best. Every day, half a teaspoon turmeric, if you take it, that is best. However, some diseases, when it progresses a lot and when it becomes severe, you have to use curcumin. The reason is that curcumin is present only 1 to 5 or 6% of turmeric powder. So in that case, when you need more curcumin to treat those conditions, you have to take pure curcumin. For
Okay.
example, this Alzheimer's disease or multiple sclerosis or cancer or arthritis and those conditions, curcumin would be better.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Subodhji. Now, Ajay Kumar ji, sir, I have one question.
Okay.
There's a curcumin called a curcumin.
Mhm.
And as per Dr. Richard Bedlack's report, 6 people
Mhm.
have reversed, and most of the people who have reversed, and major thing that has helped in reversal was terracotta or curcumin. So can you help me? What is the difference between curcumin and terracotta?
See, these are different formulations of curcumin, curcumin. Okay. What I told you different formulations have been developed, you know, for increase the bioavailability of curcumin. Okay. So more than 100 different formulations are available nowadays. And as I mentioned, these are divided into first generation, second generation, and third generation. Even third generation curcumin formulations are known to cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay, so the main difference is that curcumin powder, one is curcumin pure curcumin, the other one is curcumin formulations. You know, curcumin and those curcumin and those things are there, but they are coming with some other agents. More not only curcuminoids, some other agents also present there, but it depends on the conditions and it depends on the patients. Some patients may be require only curcumin because I told you that it depends on the severity of the disease. But if you need more bioavailability of that curcumin, for example, curcumin, if you take 50 milligram curcumin, it inhibits TNF alpha in your blood. But that for some mild inflammatory conditions you can use it. But if you need a very high amount to treat severe conditions, you may have to go for some formulations. Otherwise you have to take like 2 gram or 5 gram per day curcumin. That is very high. Even many studies shows that you can go up to 12 gram per day. It is not toxic, but I don't suggest you to go for that. And most of the time, most of the study shows 2 to 6 gram of curcumin is better. And if you want to again reduce the dose, you can go for different formulations.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello.
Now,
Hello.
Devendra ji has a question.
Yes.
Now again, what dose you will suggest for us?
See, it's a very good question. See, it is you are different, I'm different, other person is different, Shaji is different, everyone is different in this world. And that is why now medical science is saying personalized medicine is very important. And that is the same thing Ayurveda also says, personalized medicine. And if you go to a homeopathic doctor, for the same condition, same disease, he will give one medicines to one patient and another medicines to another patient. So that is depends on or it varies from where person to person. So here we don't know actually what dose is good, but what I suggest you start, if you start like anything, we start with the mild and then slowly escalate. So for example, you can start with 100 milligram or 300 milligram or 500 milligram, not more than that. So start with that and go for a couple of weeks. And if everything is fine, you are able to, you don't have any other further complications due to the take of this, you will not get it, then increase that dose to 1 gram, and, you know, and if you're getting some benefits, don't, escalate the dose too much. That is not good actually. Okay, because always we have to, say, I mean, whatever the body, adjust, I mean, and then like that dose we have to take it. So it is better to start with 100 milligram or 500, or up to 500 milligram first initially, if you are taking pure curcumin, then escalate the dose.
Okay, sir. Second,
Hmm.
अब जो turmeric powder,
Hmm.
just as Pinakin said, Lacadong turmeric powder contains 7 to 8% curcumin.
Hmm.
So when we take turmeric powder,
Hmm.
the percentage of curcumin,
Hmm.
the percentage of curcumin we are getting
Hmm.
from 1 spoon.
Hmm. Yeah. So it is believed that we Indians are taking approximately 200 to 400 milligram of curcumin, not turmeric, curcumin every day if we eat our curries and those. Yes, of course, the percentage is different, because some places we are getting, some cultivars we are getting 1%, some places we are getting 2%, one
Right.
Alepi variety is there that we are getting 7 to 8%, and there's some
Right.
Thailand variety is there that is also getting around 8%, and Lakdong actually, some places we are getting 8 to 10% of curcumin in turmeric powder, but that is only few places we are getting. So that is why average we are getting around 5 to 6% of curcumin in Lactobacillus turmeric. So this also varies. So based on that, see, I mean, if you want to use it's an immunomodulatory or mild inflammatory conditions, you don't have to use 1 teaspoon or 2 teaspoon or 3 gram or 4 gram of turmeric powder. Instead of that, you can reduce if the curcumin content is more. However, some severe conditions, yes, you it is better to use curcumin than turmeric. I hope I
You
answered
mean
you.
to say that we can consume 1 teaspoon of
Hmm.
turmeric powder?
Yeah, yeah, 1 or 2 teaspoon. There is no problem. Actually.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, because
I'm troubling. I'm
uh,
struggled due to this question. What dose to take of turmeric powder?
uh, no,
Because
see,
generally we got the turmeric powder of maximum 3% in our
oh,
region.
okay.
3% of curcumin.
See, turmeric powder you can take more also, but if it is not, so you check it first, 1 teaspoon or 2 teaspoon, fine. Why I'm saying that curcumin is not toxic up to 12 to 15 gram per day. So 2 teaspoon of turmeric, it will have maybe, I mean, less than 1 gram of curcumin, even less than that. Okay, or
Okay,
500
thank you.
milligrams. So it doesn't make a big problem. Even most of the time we use even sometimes I take 1 teaspoon of curcumin morning and 1 teaspoon evening. And sometimes I like ginger also, curcumin plus after that ginger and some couple of garlic also I take it.
Okay, last question.
Uh-huh.
So we take turmeric with milk generally.
Uh-huh.
So, if it is taken with tea,
Tea. See, uh, so I would say in this way, I would answer in this way. See, if you want, you can take turmeric in milk, but I don't use milk because I have that lactic acidosis and some
yeah,
issues. Okay, so I don't prefer milk. Instead of that, I take some warm water and then take a teaspoon of turmeric and then mix it and then drink. So because hot, if you make a little bit warm, that also increases the viability. More compounds will dissolve there. So same way also you can try, and that is tea generally we take. You can see, I mean, 10 years ago, I mean, if you see, I mean, you never heard about the cold tea, cold coffee, cold. Nowadays everything is cold. If you want a cold tea, they'll give. If you want a cold coffee, they will give. And the hot chocolate also they will give. I don't know
Mhm.
how much these
Yeah.
are helpful, or it has some adverse effects. I never, tea means for me, I mean, to me, I mean, it's like a hot one.
बेसिक तो खाई लो गरम कर
But these kids, everything is, lot of ice they put it and then make it cold. I don't know whether they are getting any benefit from that. you know. So, you can use a hard tea. I mean, that also increases because tea also contains epigallocatechin and other compounds, and then curcumin have a synergistic effect. With this, you can take.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, I would like to tell. By the way, I would like to tell you, sir, that Devendra Kumar ji, he has his own garden and farm. You, वो अपना
Great.
खुद का सब फ्रूट्स वेजिटेबल्स और अभी तो टर्मरिक भी उगाएंगे.
Oh, great, great. That's very
Uh,
nice, actually.
yeah. Or just to add one more thing, I
Uh-huh.
would like to tell everyone that I was taking uh, curcumin capsules.
Mm,
I think it was 1500 mg or more. और
mhm.
मुझे बॉल्स होने लगे फेस में. I
Oh,
saw balls coming out on my face. So I would like to tell you, as soon as you see some negative side effects by taking a huge dose of curcumin, you have to change the dosage or you have to change the form. And that is the time I found the Lakadong turmeric curcumin powder. Won't believe, sir, we are getting that powder uh, at 460 rupees per kilo plus courier charge. So I
okay.
have found very good source of curcumin powder of Lakadong turmeric, and I have even seen the test report of food safety where it shows that the curcumin in that powder is 8.5%. I can share in our group so anyone who wants to take, but make sure that you take add one pinch of black pepper powder. It will enhance the bioavailability and absorption in our body. So make sure that I always take it empty stomach.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Empty stomach is good. That is why I told you, right? Start with the 500 milligram, and if it is okay, then escalate the dose. And then you have to decide your dose.
Like you have to see your body. Your body will give you all the signals.
Yeah.
Now I think Sukhan sir hand raised. Sukhan sir, you can ask your question.
Thank you, Ajay Kumar ji, for your presentation. In fact, my questions were already asked by Devendra Kumar ji, so I
Uh-huh.
don't know whether I should repeat it.
Okay, no problem.
Mostly, I wanted to know about the toxic level, which you said is around 12 mg.
12 gram, not
12
empty.
gram, 12 gram, sorry, I mean, of curcumin.
Yes.
So that is what I wanted to know.
Mm.
So thank you. And anything special about nano curcumin?
See, You know, it's a very good question. So I always, tell anywhere I present when I get the question is this: if you are satisfied with the turmeric, you take turmeric. If you want a curcumin, for severe conditions, then you take curcumin. Then, if the bioavailability you want more, then go to other formulations. And nano curcumin, yes, people are using, but see, always try to not inject more chemicals to your body. So it is better to refrain. And if we have to do it, then do. Otherwise,
Suggest not to use nanocurcumin.
it is better not to use, like liposomal curcumin, and those things are available. Otherwise, there are some curcumin dendrimers and some different nanoparticles are there. So, it is better to not to complicate.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But because we have to identify, see, curcumin is not toxic. But when you add some agents, it may become toxic. It is not because of the curcumin or turmeric. You are adding an external agent, and that an agent can become toxic. Because it's very interesting actually, because how people uh, uh, consider this. I was in Malaysia last year. Was in There is a place called Georgetown, in Malaysia. So I was there, and after my presentation, one person came and then talked to me. See, during COVID time, we were using curcumin and turmeric, and it was not effective, and it increased its symptoms. Then I asked them what form of curcumin you used. Then they told they used a liposomal curcumin. And they also mentioned because of the liposomes, actually, you know, because liposomes are, the viruses, they live though, like that. So they can multiply very easily. So then I told them, see, it is not because of curcumin, the symptoms became severe. It is because of the liposomes. So we have to identify which is good for us, and accordingly we have to use it. So always I say, I mean, curcumin is fine, turmeric is fine, and some of the, like as Pinakin Shah ji mentioned, the piperine when you take it, but not lot of piperine in turmeric. Do not take it because piperine inhibits the enzyme glucuronidase in the liver, and then because of, see, curcumin, when it goes to our body, it goes to the liver, and then curcumin will be converted to curcumin glucuronide, and that is an inactive form of curcumin. However, this glucuronidase, piperine inhibits the glucuronidase enzyme, black pepper. So curcumin will stay, more active form will stay in the blood. That is what generally happens. So however, if you use lot of piperine, because piperine also toxic up to a certain dose. So you should not dose or use, because turmeric is not that toxic, but black pepper, I mean, you cannot take a lot of black pepper, not like turmeric. So you have to be very careful.
So, what is the way to know the purity of curcumin?
See, most of the companies, they mention that in their label, whether it is 97% or 98% or 99% pure. So that is the, or you can contact that particular company, they will tell you.
Basically, they have shared the test report from the food safety, which
Yeah.
is one example. And one more thing I would like to add that currently I have found a very good source of liposomal curcumin in liquid form. I am doing a trial on myself. Once I am okay with that, I will share the thing with in the group. Manjuna ji, thank you, Asukan sir. Manjuna ji. नो सर, आई डोंट थिंक आपका माइक चल रहा है.
He has got problem with.
मंजुनाथ जी, आपका माइक नहीं चल रहा है. मे बी यू कैन लॉग ऑफ जूम एंड रिकनेक्ट. इन द मीन टाइम ग्रुप में किसी को और को कोई क्वेरी हो, आपका कोई सवाल जवाब हो तो आप पूछ सकते हो. बाय द वे, जय कुमार सर, that curcumin Lakadong turmeric what I am buying from Lakadong, Meghalaya is it has 8.5% and it
Great.
is shown in the test report.
Okay,
I
great.
have and the best part is normally we go on the online site and we buy, so it
Uh-huh.
costs around 1200 rupees per kilo. But
Okay.
for the group benefit, we have found
Uh-huh.
460 rupees per kilo plus courier charge. So that is very reasonable, and I think everybody should have that curcumin, turmeric, and you should even incorporate that in your curries. We just add a little bit of that in our curries, so it will also help increase the immunity of our family members.
True. Good.
And
Sir,
आगे.
yeah. Manjunath ji, can you try and speak?
Again disconnect हो गया.
No, sir, no. We can see your video, but we cannot see your audio.
But you can type.
So
If it is not,
you
you can type.
can type in the chat.
तो टाइम पे भी होती है.
But in
sir,
the meantime, while you
sir,
type
one
in the
more
chat,
question.
ए तू छोटी मोटी काट
Sir, one more question, please.
सारी कोई पर
Sir, now in vegetable
तो
market,
एकदम
raw
अपनी
turmeric is
गंदी वाला
available.
અહીંયા
I'm sorry.
So,
ना
whether the raw turmeric contain more curcumin than the dried powder, or can we take raw turmeric in the form of a salad? Whether it will be beneficial?
See, many people, even my mother, what she do is that she takes the raw turmeric and cut into pieces and then boil water, and then that water she drinks. You can also do it, but the thing is that what is your treatment? So you want more curcumin, then you have to use a curcumin powder or turmeric
Okay.
dried powder. Otherwise,
Okay.
for kids and those things, you can, boil water with turmeric and then give them. That it's good for them. It increases the immunity. See, I have been using these agents for last 6 years. I can say. Means I stopped or taking the allopathic medicine most of the time, and after 2019, I have not taken any allopathic medicine so far. Tomorrow, I don't know what will happen to me, but what I'm saying that it is very effective. I
Yes,
take
yes.
turmeric, ginger, and I told you garlic. And rarely I get a cold or a fever. It's giving high immunity. So I'm very happy about that. And very less time stomach complaints also. You know, so
Yes,
I
sir.
think we should practice this our system. Than going for paracetamol or is the what is happening nowadays. If somebody gets any fever or a headache, immediately they will go to the doctor and they get some medicines. So this is the problem, and most of the kids and new generation I have seen, they take paracetamol, dispirin, aspirin, that thing, brufen, these things continuously. So we should all avoid. Instead of that, we have to cultivate a system where we, use these natural, you know, agents, and to increase our immunity. I think that is required.
thank you, Ajay Kumar ji. And
Yeah,
now Dr. Manjunath ji has typed the question. first thing is how much ginger and garlic we can take per day, and second is how much you are taking.
Okay, good. Actually, ginger, I take one small piece, one piece, like this much piece, I take it. And sometimes I take it in the morning, then sometimes during lunch also. But it is always take these things in the empty stomach before food. Okay. And the garlic, two or three, I mean, that garlic small pieces you can take, two or three or four, because sometimes garlic is a little burn your esophagus. And ginger. But ginger, what you can do is you add some little salt there, then it become very tasty. Ginger. And sometimes I smash ginger and one piece and smash, and then add one or two, a little pinch of salt, and then mix with the rice and then eat. That also very effective actually. It is good. It is good for digestion. you know
Yeah, actually, sir, we all have forgotten all these natural immune properties of all our foods.
yeah.
Actually, all these spices and all that has helped all of us across the last so many years, thousands of years. And you showed correctly, sir. Ayurveda has also showed that we have curcumin, turmeric powder, all these spices are very much useful for building our immunity and living a long and healthy life. So I think that's a really good thing that we are now coming back to our roots.
Yes.
You won't believe that nowadays people in America are drinking milk latte.
Yes.
It's just turmeric milk, and
Yes.
they are paying around $10 for milk latte.
True. 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 Yeah. Great.
Uh, Manjunath ji is asking, can we take ginger and garlic along with turmeric in combination?
It's fine, but what I suggest you, I mean, if you want, you take see turmeric. The issue is that the powder form you are getting. So either you can mix with hot water, warm water, and you can drink, and then ginger and garlic. Or what you can do it, turmeric in honey. Some people, I don't know, if you get pure honey, you can use it. But what I suggest always, first you take turmeric and then ginger and garlic. That's the way I used to do it. It is together you can
Thank
do,
you, sir.
because most of the
One more.
we put turmeric, ginger, black pepper, and then garlic, right? There is a combination in in South. It is called a rasam. So it's like a soup. We put all this turmeric, ginger, garlic, black pepper, right? Yeah. And then curry leaf also.
That is my favorite thing, sir. That is
Okay.
my favorite.
And some mushrooms.
Yes. Okay.
One last question from Dr. Manjunath. Betel leaf, betel leaf, ginger and garlic combination is good. What is your opinion?
I say, avoid betel leaf. It may have some effect, but it is not proved actually. And most of the people use betel leaf with betel nuts and the tobacco, right? And betel leaf plus betel nut, if you chew for long time, there's a chances of inflammation and oral submucosal fibrosis. That's an inflammatory condition. And you will not be able to open your mouth, and then it gives pain. And there is no actually, a good medicine for that. Only steroids are there. But interesting, there are many clinical trials that showed if you use curcumin or turmeric plus tulsi or something or piperine, you can get improvement, almost 90% improvement on the symptoms. So try to avoid
Uh,
beet leaf instead of that. There are so many other things we can use it. Right.
Thank you, sir. But again, I would like to tell you one last thing that डॉक्टर मंजुनाथ जी ने अभी लास्ट में वो गाना देखा था खाई के पान बनारस वाला
Great,
वो
great.
देखा था इसके
Yeah, yeah. So he can also sing now. Oh, nice.
ओके थैंक यू एवरीवन अब आज
Sir,
जोड़ के मैं
one general knowledge question.
Okay.
You are from Kerala,
Yes.
so there is a place I heard Salem.
Yes.
So what is it is famous for? Famous for, and second is the Salem soil contains selenium?
See, I'm not aware of that. And Salem is in Tamil Nadu. That is another state.
Okay.
And I don't know. I mean, heard about the state. It depends on what Sometimes we'll come up across these things, but I don't know about
Okay.
that. Sorry. Yeah, selenium is talking about selenium in low quantities. Selenium is good for the body, but not in higher quantities. There are some publications, scientific studies. Low quantities of selenium can even prevent cancer.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू अजय कुमार जी फॉर
Thank you.
सो मच टाइम फॉर योर प्रेजेंटेशन for all the research that you have shared. You won't believe, sir. One last thing is that if you can see properly, I'm wearing a turmeric color
Yes,
t-shirt.
yellow color, my favorite color. And
Golden color.
I'm wearing, wearing black pepper. So the combination is really good.
Yeah. Correct. So basically, थैंक यू सर आपने टाइम निकाला आपने हमें इतना नॉलेज और एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू अब यू गो ahead in your research and studies and if any clinical trials are there we are all there to support you.
Thank you.
Ajay Kumar ji, last but not the least, I
Mm.
would like to tell you that I was given 2 to 5 years to live, but I have already completed 8 years with MND,
Great.
and
Very
that is
happy.
the because MND for me means मैं नहीं डरता MND.
Mm. Yes.
अंग्रेजी में समझाना तो
I am not afraid of you anything.
yeah.
मैं नहीं डरता. So we are all. Devendra Kumar ji is my Kung Fu Panda. Dr. Manjunath ji is my laughing Buddha. We all enjoy these meetings. Thank you again, sir, for your time. और आपका
Thank,
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आप
thank you.
ऐसे ही रिसर्च करते रहिए हमें हमारे देश को आगे बढ़ाते रहिए. और वन मोर थिंग इज दैट अजय कुमार जी
Mm.
विदेश जाके भारत वापस आए ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. थैंक यू सर फॉर कमिंग बैक. We are greatly obliged to you
This is
and
my
your research.
people, my home, and so I have to come back. So that's why I came back, and very happy to see all of you here, and I'm very happy, you know, and keep in touch, and Pinakin ji has my WhatsApp number, message sometime, so sometime call and then we can talk, it's all a great pleasure to meet all of you. Thank you so much for giving this platform.
Thank you, sir. A lot of thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Say, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. धन्यवाद सर. Thank you.